At Bayer Leverkusen, Kai Havertz was seen as one of the world's most exciting upcoming talents. In fact, Havertz was probably Germany's biggest prospect in many years. However, years down the line and now in the Premier League, Kai Havertz is one of the most controversial players in the Prem, and it's safe to say that he has failed to live up to his high expectations. So how did Kai Havertz go from a world-class talent to a Premier League flop? Well, let's take a look at the rise and fall of Kai Havertz so far. Kai Havertz was born on June 11th, 1999 in a place called Aachen, Germany. He was born into a football-loving family, with his dad, brother, and grandpa being football crazy, which influenced Kai to be the same way. Now, Kai's grandfather was a longtime chairman of a club called Alemannia Mariadorf, and when Kai turned 4 years old, Grandpa Richard took him into the club. Then within the Mariadorf Academy, Havertz always used to play 2 years above his own, and he stood out so much that when he was 10, he joined another club called Alemannia Aachen, who were the biggest club in the region Kai was raised in. Alemannia Aachen were actually a Bundesliga 2 side at the time as well, and Kai was a big fan of them, essentially playing for the club he grew up supporting. However, even though Kai loved the club as a child, he only ended up playing 1 year with them. It's not because the coaches cut him because he wasn't good enough or something, but instead it was actually the exact opposite. Havertz was already making his name known throughout Germany, which caused scouts to appear at some of his youth games. Then when Kai was playing for the under-12s of Alemannia Aachen, he had a world-class performance against Leverkusen. Havertz's team lost 8-3, but the 3 goals for Aachen came from Havertz, who scored a hat-trick on that day. The Leverkusen youth coach, Sławomir Zarnanicki, I definitely butchered that pronunciation, saw Kai's performances and convinced Kai and his family to sign with Leverkusen in the summer of 2010. Now, throughout the youth ranks, Kai continued his rapid progression within the club. Kai began to really fit into his left-footed playmaker style role, kind of like Messi, which is why a Leverkusen youth coach called him the young German Messi. Comparing anybody to Messi is basically asking for them to fail. But we move. However, there was an obstacle that Havertz struggled to beat, and that was his physical growth. You see, by the time Kai was only 14 or 15 years old, he was still one of the smallest kids in the Leverkusen academy. The following year though, Havertz went through a very dramatic growth spurt, and when you get a growth spurt, your legs get way longer, obviously. However, with longer legs, your entire playstyle in football dramatically changes, and Kai was struggling to deal with that, and ended up being more of a bench warmer at the under 15/under 16 level because of this. However, by the time Havertz was with the under 17s, he overcame these problems and played a significant part in helping Leverkusen win the German under 17 title in 2016 by scoring 18 goals in 26 games, one of them being in a 2-0 win over Borussia Dortmund in the final of the competition. With these amazing performances, Kai was awarded with the silver under 17 Fritz Walter medal, which is basically a medal given to the best 17, 18, or 19-year-olds in Germany every year, basically highlighting how talented someone is in Germany. Some of these players who have gotten their hands on this medal are Manuel Neuer, Rudiger, and the one and only Toni Kroos. So Kai Havertz was an elite company. He did only end up winning the silver one though, but a couple years later he got his hands on the gold one, really showing how talented Kai was at a young age. Anyways, after playing in the 2016 under 17 championships for Germany, Havertz was too good for academy ball, so he was thrown into the deep end and was given a place on the team in the Leverkusen senior squad for the Bundesliga 2016-17 campaign. In Kai's first season with Bayer Leverkusen, he broke a ton of records. He became the club's youngest ever Bundesliga debutant at the age of just 17 years and 126 days old, and also became the youngest goal scorer for the club in the Bundesliga at the same age as well. Fun fact as well, Kai Havertz took part in Leverkusen's Champions League round of 16 first leg clash against Atletico Madrid. However, in the return leg, Havertz couldn't play in the match, not because of injury or suspension or anything, but instead it was because the game time clashed with his examination times, and he had to take his exams so he couldn't play in the match. Dang, Havertz was really an academic weapon. I didn't know that about him. Me personally, I would definitely be lacing my boots to play in a Champions League knockout game, but there's a reason why Havertz is up there and not me. I'm talentless. Anyways, overall, Havertz finished the season with 4 goals and 6 assists in 24 Bundesliga games. Not bad for a teenager in his first professional season. In the next 17-18 campaign, Kai Havertz nailed down a position in the team and became a clear starter. He occupied that right wing position and the 10th position for himself. Additionally, he became the youngest player in the history of the Bundesliga to reach 50 appearances at just 18 years and 307 days old, breaking the record of future teammate Timo Werner. Overall in the campaign though, he had a slight improvement in goal contributions, with him getting 4 goals and 9 assists in 36 games. Remember though, he's still a teenager, so you can't be too harsh on the guy for not getting a lot of goals. But in the 18-19 campaign, Kai Havertz changed that fault completely and absolutely exploded on the scene, forcing the world to take notice. In this season, he became a clinical finisher, bagging himself 20 goals overall and also getting 7 assists in 42 games. This step up from Kai Havertz was massive. Not only that, during this 18-19 campaign, Havertz broke an insane record, becoming the highest scoring teenager in a single Bundesliga campaign. With this amazing season, Kai Havertz was named runner-up to Marco Reus for the German Footballer of the Year award, only losing out by just 37 votes, all while he was still only 19 years old. That's insane. Havertz was easily Germany's biggest prospect at this point in time. Now for Kai's last season at Leverkusen in the COVID-disrupted 19-20 campaign, Havertz got 18 goals and 9 assists in 45 games, managing to get a total of 27 goal contributions for 2 seasons in a row. He also became the youngest player in the Bundesliga to reach 100 appearances, and also became one of the youngest captains for the Leverkusen club at just 20 years old. Overall, in the past couple of seasons, Havertz was lighting it up, and the biggest clubs were taking notice, like Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and Real Madrid, and all these big clubs wanted his signature. I mean, to be honest, what big club wasn't looking at Havertz? I'm telling you, at that time, Havertz was one of the hottest players in the market. However, Havertz decided to snub some of Europe's biggest footballing giants to join Lampard's project at Chelsea, signing a 5-year contract at the club for an initial £62 million, which could rise to £71 million with add-ons. Now, Havertz joining Chelsea was the start of his career's downfall, right? Well, not really, because for the first couple of seasons, Havertz was actually doing pretty good. Real quick before we get to that though, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it, and it means a lot, so thank you. And also, if you guys can, please follow my Twitter and Instagram, both at Nabuto, if you just want to hear my thoughts on football games, transfers, and overall, just to get to know me more. So if you want to, feel free to hit me up with that follow. Thank you. Back to topic, in Kai's first season for the Blues, he managed to score a total of 9 goals and 8 assists in 45 games. It's not the best, but it's not bad, considering that the Premier League is at a higher level footballing wise compared to the Bundesliga, with all due respect. Also, Havertz made sure he'll be remembered in Chelsea's history forever in this season. That's because in the Champions League final against Manchester City, Chelsea won the game 1-0, and it was all thanks to Kai Havertz's goal in the first half of the game. What a place for Havertz to get his first ever Champions League goal. Now the next 21-22 campaign, Havertz improved his individual stats, with him bagging 14 goals and 6 assists in 47 games. This wasn't the level that everybody thought Havertz would be at, but still, it's not the worst. He was still a solidified Chelsea starter. Sadly though, the 22-23 season would be the real start of Kai Havertz's decline. In their overall season, Kai only managed to bag 9 goals and 1 singular assist in 47 games. This was terrible for someone who was Germany's biggest footballing prospect in many years. So what went wrong for Havertz? How did he go from a lethal finisher to someone who can't score consistently and someone who misses easy chances way too often? Well, let's get into that. One, I think it's pretty important to note that Chelsea were absolutely horrendous in the 22-23 campaign, with them finishing 12th place. So to blame Havertz for everything when the entire team was rubbish is pretty unfair. Second, nobody knows his real position. In fact, the Bundesliga even made an entire article talking about what Havertz's real position is sometime back, since nobody actually knows. And when Havertz was at Chelsea, this mystery couldn't be more clear. You see, when Havertz was doing decent in his first couple of seasons with the Blues, it was because he was playing alongside Timo Werner, who took most of the heat for being a Premier League flop, but also he was the one making the runs and stretching the game, giving more space for Kai Havertz to create something in the middle of the pitch and link up play. But before the 22-23 season went underway, Timo Werner went back to RB Leipzig, and Thomas Tuchel decided to have Havertz play as a number 9 up top. Havertz clearly isn't a traditional number 9, so that didn't really work out. With Werner on the team, Havertz was much better off as a second striker / 10 / winger, where he could arrive late in the box and play more freely on the right hand side. But as a 9, he's pretty restricted from doing that. As you can tell though, I really don't know what the best position for Kai Havertz is, and I'm not the only one, because nobody actually knows what his best position is. All I know though is that Havertz cannot play the 9 role, with his XG actually being one of the lowest for European attackers. Now this does beg the question, can Mikel Arteta revive Havertz's career? Now you might be asking, where does Arteta fall in the story? Well, in the summer of 2023, despite heavy interest from Real Madrid for some reason, Havertz signed to Arsenal for around £65 million. Chelsea have done incredible business there. Anyways, Arteta is the coach of Havertz now, and believes in him tremendously, with him always backing up Havertz publicly. However, it doesn't take much to see that Kai Havertz is clearly lacking in confidence. He's missed some really easy chances so far this season, and looks like he doesn't even enjoy being on the pitch anymore. He's not doing well either, because in the 12 total games he's taken a part in so far, he only has 1 goal and 1 assist, and those 2 goal contributions came in the most frequent Arsenal games, with him scoring a penalty against Bournemouth, a penalty that was given to him by his Arsenal teammates to help him regain his confidence, and also a game-winning assist against Manchester City. But let's be real, Martinelli did all the hard work. So as we can clearly see, Havertz at Arsenal isn't really working out right now, and I'm not really sure that it ever will. It seemed like a good signing on paper. With Arsenal having a mix of good experience and young superstars, it seemed like a great place for Havertz to join, and I genuinely still think that Havertz joining Arsenal was the right call, but it just isn't currently working. Even Arteta is struggling to find out what Havertz's best position is, because he's been deployed in multiple positions so far, like up top as a false 9, on the flanks, and even in the midfield, and yet nothing seems to be working. I don't really have a solution either. Like I've said, I don't know where Havertz should be played. So let me know what you guys think Havertz's best position is in the comments down below. I would love to know what you guys think. Nevertheless, all I know is Havertz was a player with enormous potential and world-class talent, something that he showed with Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. Talent just doesn't disappear overnight. Havertz still has that dog in him. He just needs to find a way to let it back out and truly show the world what he's capable of. Personally, before Havertz joined Chelsea, I was actually a big Havertz fan and wanted him to succeed. And not gonna lie, even though he's a meme now, I still do. So here's to Kai Havertz hopefully turning his career back around, because that would be a comeback for the ages. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Also, please remember remember to follow my Instagram and Twitter, the links are in my YouTube description. And last but not least, if you want to learn more about a modern day Premier League legend, Mohamed Salah, you definitely want to check out this video right here, you won't regret it.